Alright, today we're going to do a top-down analysis of Euro AUD. Um, this has been on my journey with becoming a profitable trader, and love that you're on the journey with me. So, so here we're going to start with here. Typically, I like to start on the weekly. The monthly is a little too high for me. So we'll start on the weekly, and we'll look at the structure, whether it's bullish or bearish structure. We'll look at the trend, not necessarily trend lines, but just the trend based on structure. So we see that at this point right here that is very bullish structure, and then whether it's a change of character or if it's a minor, we can tell that within the last 2 years that it's in a bearish downtrend. It's bearish structure here. See, there's lower lows, higher lows, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So it's safe to say that right now we're in a bearish downtrend. Right now, it's also safe to say that we have this bearish signal right here that it's a bearish W right now. So we see it making a W. So it's looking more so still on the bearish side uh, unless it reaches levels. But we got to determine which levels that it does reach for us to change our thought process of where the structure is, where the market is right now. So we can say here, we can say that this is a lower low here. And so whether it be here or here, whether the lower high is here or here, doesn't really matter because this structure was broken. Um, the structure was broken right there. Because that structure was broken right here, we know and we can say that this is our lower high for the weekly time frame. Weekly here. All right, so that is the weekly lower high. So we know that, right? So here is the next lower low. Um, to be honest, both regions here doesn't really matter to me. These are one and the same. This is a double bottom, or just the other leg of the other side of the W. This to me counts as one single pullback. So one single point. All I care about is lower lows, lower highs. It doesn't matter what it looks like. This is a lower low to me. It does not matter in this case for me when we're determining structure. Okay, so uh, another good thing to go about this is this market structure book. I got this off a guy at Photon Trading FX. A really good guy. He explains everything. He explains how lower lows or lower highs work, how in theory this is what we see in textbooks, but it's never the same way. We always question whether if this is the next lower high, this is the next lower low. It doesn't really matter. We can see clearly that it broke structure here. That's the only thing that matters. That's the new high. The lowest point from there is the lower low. So we know that. Same thing for here. We know that strong. We can target the highs on the uptrends, and we can target the lows on the downtrends because they are weak because we are in downtrends. Same thing here. It shows when there is actually a break. Um, this document is really good for him. You can see when there's a change of characters. Um, so look at this guy. He's pretty good. I really like how he explains structure, and I've been defining my structure based on him. So back to this, we see that here. It's a lower high. This doesn't really matter because it did not close below. So yep, looks like we're done with our weekly. One other thing that I like to note on our weekly is that we're in. We see this trend here. We can tell that it's a little iffy, but it looks like we're rejecting. These didn't per se touch, which I do not like. But we can say that we're near a level or resistance level right here, so it could reject. Although previously, when it rejected hard. It rejected here. It rejected really hard. So it was a strong rejection. Right now, there is no strong rejection, so we can probably say that it's building up orders so that it can push up higher. So that's one thing to look at here. I'm going to take this off because we don't really care about that right now. Daily, we're going to look at our daily structure. We see in our daily structure that same thing right here. So this is our weekly high, higher high. So we can honestly start from here. We see this is a higher high, higher low. You know that this is another level here for our daily here. Then it broke here, then it went here, and then it went here. And then once we broke this level here, we broke this structure at this level here. Now this is a new high. So it went from bearish to bullish because of this leg right here. Now we can say that this level here is our daily structure. So that's our daily structure right there. So we'll go ahead and put on the lowest low. I don't care if it's the middle one, the one on the right, the one on the left. It does not matter. That's my low low. If it closes below that level, if it closes obviously below that level, if it's an obvious close, if it's not on the line and you're determining the thickness of the line, and if it's not, I don't care about that. It needs to be lower. It has to be obvious. Has to be no questions. In addition to that, let's just do this for now. We can see that here is a level. It's been touching for a while on a daily. There, you see wick. It's another wick here, wick, and then a wick here. So this is a strong level here. So let's move on to our 4 hourly. You know that this is a level here. I'm going to make this a little bit more precise. Okay, so starting from here, we can see that that this is bullish in a sense. So see that 4 hourly that it went here, so lower, a higher low, higher high. You know, this is a higher low, and although yes, it did come and break here, it went there, came down, broke there. I wouldn't want to consider this just yet a structure, just because it isn't a swing. You can see clearly here that these are swing levels. Even though it's here for a couple, maybe a day or so, it went up. Maybe for another day it went up and then it went down. Yes, that's technically the trade. A trade will be held longer than a day, so it is swing. But no, this is relative swings for for the 4 hours. So I don't consider that. I consider this break a break of a change of character. So this would be a change of character for me right now, as in a bearish change of character. So overall, our level for the 4 hour is going to be right here. That's our 4 hour. And again, that's just because that's the next swing that we can do. So that's going to be H4. We have H4 daily, weekly, boom. So we have our structural levels. Go at the weekly. See that weekly we're here. We're bullish 4 hour daily and bearish weekly. So this is where it's kind of at a level where let's just go to our weekly chart. Again, we see that it just rejected the 78.6 level. And right here, we're not exactly too sure. Yes, we consider this trend line that, yes, this is the trend line. So we're not exactly sure if it's going to push higher or if it's not. We don't know if it's going to push higher, go up, touch the 88.6. We don't know if it's going to do a double top here, come down. So we're trying to look on more confluence of what's more likely to happen, just based on confluence, right? Yeah, so go back down to our 4 hourly. Let's look at our 4 hour structure. You ever heard that structure is broken on the lower time frames before it's broken on the higher time frames? So I believe that. So we can see what's going on the lower time frames and what is being obvious, what is obvious to us on the lower time frames. All right. So we do see on the lower time frames that it is making a bullish pennant. It is coming here, making some move. From here, it's supposed to come up, reject. I wanted to reject here. The market doesn't always do, but that's the ideal solution. I mean, that's the ideal case that we want. Um, yeah, so we do know it's looking bullish. So if it were to go bullish, what would we look at? If it were to go bullish, we could say the 4 hourly. We could place the 27.2 as our target. It's generally a safe target um, for trades. It's a magic number, so we see that. Let's see if there's any confluence with that. Let's check where the 88.6 is for weekly. We have that. That's all 27.2. Well, let's also see the actual daily level. Our daily level matches with 78.6. I like to tend to go. I tend to go for the daily level versus the 4 hour, because the 4 hours has more noise. The lower time frames has more noise. We also see 61 lining up with a weekly 100%. Uh, Give him a little bit more. I would say a little bit more confidence of it that if it could go higher. So my target there is for the daily. So this is also weekly 78.6, and this is the daily 127. So weekly 8.6 and daily 127.2, right? So just noting down the Fibonacci levels that this is. So it's the confluence for that. Not only that, we see that this is happening um, at this level. So we are seeing this pennant happening at this level that we were talking about earlier. This pattern is also happening at the trend line that we drew. This is also happening there. So typically this could say that it's more confirmation that it's going to break that level, right? So yeah, so it's a lot of confirmations that this is going to be bullish. If it isn't bullish, we can see that on the daily time frame, you see that it tested 38.2. This would be the one level below that. This would be a target. Should be a little too late, so I wouldn't even say that. If it does show anything obvious, we would be able to trade something down to this level. So this is gonna be my 61.8 level for it to touch on a daily perspective if it does go down, and we'll pull small scalps there. I don't want to stay too long in this trade because the 4 hour and the daily are both bullish, so I don't want to just sit there and try to look for a super long target when it does not look right. So you also see 61.8 on the 4 hour is here, which in turn it could easily go here, here. Oops. Let's try this again. Here. Boom. And then it continues. So it could do a lot of things. It's a lot of opportunities, a lot of indecisions, but right now it looks like the chart is looking a little obvious that it's going to push out further up. Not only this, but on the daily, we can also see that there's some divergence from the RSI. So we see that this level here is diverging with the overbought oversold status of the pair that we're looking at right now. We see that it's more oversold at a higher price. So it's looking like that. Okay, well, this even if it goes lower, the more lower it goes, it validates it this being much stronger. Of course, that breaks when it goes. Actually, if it closes below that, then that of course will confirm that this leg, if it went all the way down here, that this will no longer be considered as um, divergence. Okay, so um, going into that, so this is even more confirmation that okay, well, it's looking pretty bullish. Now we got to figure out when we're actually going to enter the trade. For me, it'll be safe buys once it breaks this level. Once it breaks here, I tend to not enter because I made this trend line. It is not the best trend line. It's more so shows the median of all the touches, the average of all the touches. But I will want to make sure that it breaks this level first before as more confirmation. But if it breaks this level, it's slight confirmation. We want to look for something obvious. So if it goes here, comes down and does something obvious, like an engulfing candle or like or something, then we'll look for buys um, to this level here, and we'll just swing this entire trade. Um, if it does not break, then we'll get into very short lows here. What that would look like, it'll have to be something obvious. For me, I'm not convinced unless it comes down, wakes up here, and then does something like this where it breaks structure again. That's obvious to me that it's all right. You played a couple people, you took a couple people's money, and now you just want to dump, right? That's something obvious. So for me, unless it shows something obvious in that nature, I'm not gonna take saves. I'm just gonna wait it out and see what price does. Um, so that's to me a high probability trade once this shows some breakage. I don't go into the 15 minute too often unless I'm really trying to get into some scalping moves. But as of right now, this is the level here. I want to see what it will do. If I wanted to, I can see, like for instance, here we see that this is a 4 hour bearish pennant, so we can kind of gauge to see what kind of structure it's making during this pennant. All right, so we see here it's not really showing much transaction. We know that here is really just being very indecisive. Once it reaches this level, it's very indecisive, loading up orders, very very um, horizontal here, and then you see a lot of wicks. So see with a lot of wicks here, so it's just indecision, loading up orders, and then it shoots down, comes up, retests this level here, from here, and then we can see clear cells all the way down to this level. Be more safer here, but to this level here. Um, so we're trying to look for something similar to what's been going on here. Something that's different, then we can know. You see even in the beginning here, a lot of indecision, goes down. Here not so much. From this level, it usually does double taps. This time it didn't, so it looks like it may be gone for good. Well, who knows? But for now, we at least know that this is what we're looking for. We're looking for your AUD to come up here. So not only this, another good source is my FX books. Areas. So sign in. I'm not gonna sign in. But you can look at portfolios here. I don't want to do this. can look at your trading portfolios. Let me sign in really quickly. Okay, so my FX book is a very, very, very uh, useful tool. So this is one of my first accounts that I blew. First account that I blew went from $200, brought it up to 400, went back down to 200, brought it back to 400. Kind of got cocky during that time. Went down all the way to 200, and then from there it was downhill a lot more. And then I tried it again, and eventually you see that I was slowly, very, very slowly increasing into the point where I just went back down to 21. I gave up on this account. Overall, I deposited 400, and I withdrew 125. So essentially, I was negative around 250 for this account. Prodigy, this account was way back when. This was starting in 2019. It's negative 300 for this account. So I did deposit 18, withdrew 800. Right now I have 31 in my account, but overall, yeah, this account was not good. Then we moved on to right now. This account is technically sitting at $31. Now what we have is that we have a new account here. It's called Fresh Start. Isn't too fresh because I actually started off with 150 in this account. Right now I'm down about 50%. So when I was trying to bring this back up last week, I did actually pretty good. I brought it up by around 10%. So I mean that was good. But this is the most important part about it. We can see a summary of the trades. We can see your pairs that are your most. My most profitable pair is Euro AUD. Is an Aussie yen pair, right? 67% on that pair. Although I only took two trades, still 67% on this trade. It's probably one of my best ones. It's just great. I'm a 50%. My highest that I have is I'm a 50% on this one for the number I've won. The number that is won and lost, but I want my percentage. But there's no way to really gauge to look at that. So here, 67% on that. Um, the best profit. So your AUD is my pair. I've only made $9 from it, but this is my bread and butter here. I'm 50-50 off trades of four. I only made four trades. The amount of pips that I had is another amount I had, right? With my long, so I'm better with shorts than I am. One other thing that this account is really important for is that it shows how many um, are you actually taking. So I'm taking 28 longs. So this is just the amount of longs won, the amount of shorts won. So 28 is the amount of longs I've taken. 32 is the amount of shorts I've taken. So it looks like I'm more biased to doing shorts than longs, but overall my longs come out better. It shows my profitability factor, all this other stuff. So this thing is good. It helps you track. It helps you track each and every trade in your book. What kind of percentages were you doing, and things like that. So all of this is really good. It's my FX books. You don't have to have your um, account information showing here. You can make it public, all that good stuff. So this is really what I do. So right now, you see that the first when I first started, I was 50% negative. Now, and then last month I was 26% negative. Now I'm 20% negative for the month. But we see that AUD was a good pair. So that was a long. So that was a long. I only did longs. I'm sorry, it wasn't a good pair. It was actually just the longs that I did. So Mostly this month I was taking shorts. Well, October I was taking shorts. Vast majority of November I was taking shorts. I would say it's a little half. It's pretty half and half for here for this month. I'm taking both longs and shorts, and so there is mostly a short bias to me, but I don't think it's too much. More data would show if there's really a bias with me preferring to short or not. Yeah, that's the video today. Um, Hopefully we'll see how this plays out in the near future. You can also see that daily is actually kind of doing the same thing. It's at this level. This is the key level. There's a daily rising wedge on the daily, and we're going to see if we can play to this short here. Trying to see and wait to see what kind of news we're going to get for this play. Um, what kind of news we're going to get for gold. So kind of waiting on that. So thank you again.